Do you know wallets have been operated by agents in 2026 and it is going to accelerate a lot more in the near future. So the days are gone for wallets are operated by only the human beings. In this presentation, we will look into it. What are all the new technologies? How Web3 marketing companies can adapt to this new technology change. Hello, I am Mani Malarvannan. In this video, we will look into the autonomous wallet, how it is operated by agents and what marketing agencies can do to understand the new Web3 infrastructure and the attribution model they can create so that they can thrive in the new agentic AI world. Web3 marketing journey vanishes into an analytical blind spot if we are looking only in Web2. See, the phase one of the Web 2 is at click. You send a link UT with the UTM tag, and then if anybody clicks it, you can use either Google Analytics or Postdog or whatever tools you have to capture the clicks, and then the wallet connection happens. That's all. It stops. After the wallet connection, what happens? What happens in the Web 3? What type of transaction the users are performing? Are they sending money or are they doing any other type of transaction that you need to gain intelligence out of it? And are they operated by a human being or an agent? You need to understand all this so that you can connect all the data points to avoid the analytic blind spot that is right now happening in most of the Web3 marketing agencies. So, wallets have evolved from the passive gateways to an autonomous participants. It's basically in 2025 and before, people were using wallets to connect to their favorite blockchain, either Ethereum, Binance, or Solana, to do a transaction. They might be sending money to their friends and family, or they are purchasing an NFT token. That's all. That's all happened. It's a very passive tool. And then it changed from the passive tool to the scripted automation. The scripted automation runs every 1 hour or 24 hours once during the night time based on certain rule. You can set it up. That started happening. So that is a scripted automation. Now we are in the stage three with the AI. All the agents are all context aware agents. Context aware here meaning you can set up an agent whenever the transaction cost is low, send money to my friends and family. You can set up something like that to an agent, and then the agent will fulfill based on the threshold value you set up for the transaction. You don't have to monitor the because you already given the permission for the agent is going to execute the transaction and it is going to commit the transaction on the blockchain using the wallet that you authorized for agent to participate. In this model, the infrastructure changes and how the analytical attribution model changes because you need to understand who is operating the wallet, whether the wallet is operated by a human being or a agent. If it is operated by an agent, you need to identify what are all the different parameters that agent can able to understand and operate so that you can identify the entire attribution funnel for your marketing campaign. That is going to help your marketing customers so that you can get more revenue from the marketing agency's point of view. So on-chain agents are smart contracts with reasoning. The smart contract execution happens whenever a transaction is executed on a blockchain. So that is a very simple static rules that have been operated. And then that is the starting point of the blockchain. And then the adaptive AI logic. See, the AI can able to evaluate the context, and then it can able to identify alternative paths. Say, for example, if you want to send money from one blockchain to another blockchain, you have to go through multiple bridge, and for each hop, each network you cross, you may have to end up paying some money. For all those things, before sending the transaction, you can identify how much money you are going to spend for the transaction, that hopping from one blockchain to another blockchain, and how much intermediary bridges are all going to cost for you. So you can able to set your agent so that the agent can execute the transaction whenever the transaction fee is lower, because as you all know, blockchains operate 24/7. There is no rest, there is no weekend for those. And similarly for your agents, there is no weekends, no sleeping time or anything. It's going to be running continuously on your behalf to fulfill your goals. So that is the adaptive AI logic. And then in the on-chain residency case, the agents are going to be living within the blockchain. Say for Ethereum, there is an opportunity for you to have your personal agents running within the blockchain, so that your agent can able to monitor whatever the transaction that is happening on your behalf, and it is trying to execute for your needs and fulfill what you need to achieve for that agentic point of view. So, to understand this entire infrastructure, the Web3 marketing agencies need to have a proper tools and technologies to capture the data, to collect it, to integrate those data and identify to create a proper attribution model for your marketing campaigns. And also, auditability is going to be key to differentiate for Web3 marketing agencies. See, off-chain AI, you can able to trust with certain extents, because within the off-chain, the entire transaction on all those happening without anybody's knowledge. What I mean by anybody's knowledge is all the data are all owned by either Google, Amazon. So those big companies, they own the data. You have to collect the data anonymously, and obviously those big companies are not going to share the data. So if there is any failure happens, it's very difficult for you to identify what exactly the transaction change that happened within the Web2 world. But in on-chain, it completely changes. It is a public ledger. Any blockchain you can go and identify with the pseudo-anonymous networks. With the public address, you can wallet address, you can able to identify how many transaction happened. Anybody can do it because it's all public. So it is a trustless in a way, but it's fully auditable. You can identify what exactly happened in each of the network within the blockchain and identify and get all the data. For that, once again, I am repeating this point. You need to have proper analytical tools to achieve this goal. For that, you need to have proper infrastructure to capture both the off-chain data and the on-chain data, connect those data so that you can identify how exactly these two Web2 and Web3 data can be connected. And in this channel, there are various videos we put together. If you have time, if you have any questions, please go and watch those videos. We clearly explain how to collect the Web2 data, how to collect the Web3 data, integrate those two data to identify and come up with a proper attribution channel for your marketing companies. And the dynamic infrastructure eliminate the central point of failure. This is a very critical aspect to understand, so that you can see how well you can position your Web3 marketing agencies for these new changes. For example, the trigger and response. Anytime the on-chain state change happens, you need to get the trigger and understand it and collect the data from the blockchain that you are monitoring. And then the context engine activation. It's basically reads the smart contract and it's dynamically evaluates all the parameters like blockchain speed, transaction cost, all those various parameters, and then it decides whether it needs to execute the transaction or it need to wait, and then the autonomous action executed. See, all this, it happens 24/7 with the help of AI agents without humans intervention. Of course, the human beings needs to create the permission for the agents to operate. Once the agent knows what it needs to do, it can able to go and operate independently, and there is no central failure because these agents are all going to be living within the blockchain. It can able to execute independently without the central failure. This is not possible if you have your agents running in a centralized server. Even Amazon, Google server can go down, but not the blockchain networks. Because have you ever seen a blockchain network like Ethereum or Bitcoin go down? No, it's a decentralized network, and if you have agents running on those networks, it can able to do the work for you 24/7 without failing. So for this to work, from the marketing agency, you need to understand how it's going to be implemented in various blockchain networks and collect the data, identify the data so that you can give proper informations to your clients through your marketing agencies. And then differentiating on-chain AI agents from the legacy wallet automation. See, from the on-chain AI agents, it's completely flips the switch for the marketing agencies. You need to understand the traditional wallet automation from the on-chain AI agents. In the transparency, the traditional wallet automation is the off-chain logic. It's unverified because you cannot easily verify the wallet where it is coming from. But in on-chain AI agents, it's recorded on the public ledger, fully auditable because it is running within the blockchain and you can able to audit it. And then the contract interaction. See, whenever in the traditional wallet automation, whenever the transaction happen, it reads the state and then it's going to execute the transaction. It cannot understand what is going to happen before the transaction and after the transaction. But on the on-chain agents, it can able to interpret and responds to the state dynamically. For example, whenever certain types of threshold goes down, say transaction volume is down or the transaction cost is low, it can able to execute it. In the traditional wallet automation, you cannot do that. And then the event triggers. In the traditional wallet automation, it has to be a webhook or a batch process that runs that can say, okay, execute this transaction every 1 hour once or 1 hour once. It can check, and then whenever the transaction volume is low or transaction fee is low, execute it. You can able to set up like that. But in the on-chain AI agents case, the trigger can happen automatically based on certain parameters that is happening within the blockchain. And then the attribution tracking. In the traditional wallet, it's a session click level only. You can able to identify if yes, somebody clicked the wallet connect and that's all. And you cannot understand what exactly happened on the on-chain. But in the on-chain AI agents, you can get those data also and then integrate those two to produce a proper report for your customers to bridge the gap that is happening in the Web 2 world and the Web 3 world. So that is possible too. And then the tokenized incentives, it's not even applicable in the traditional wallet automation. But in the on-chain, the participation can happen based on the autonomous actors. So you can able to identify how well it is intensified using the tokens, using the on-chain AI agents. Okay. Measurements, the shifts from the inferred intent to revealed preference. It's basically in the Web2 world wallet connection happens based on ad clicks, UTMs, and page views. So it's high volume. You can collect a lot of people are coming to your website or decentralized application, but very few users are going to connect to the wallet. And even after connecting the wallet, very few customers are going to commit a transaction. See, the Web3 companies, they make money only if the transaction happens within their blockchain network. If not, they're not going to make any money. So from the Web3 marketing agency's point of view, you need to understand what type of transaction happen, whether the transaction is created by a agent or the user. So even though the volume is going to be low, you can able to accurately say, yes, these 10 customers performed these 10 transactions on this particular blockchain network on this particular day, particular time. You can able to identify it. And that's what that agentic execution reveals in the Web3 world. You still need to get the data because you want to understand how many you from in the Web2 world, you still need to connect the data because you need to understand how many users are coming in and where they are coming from. Are they coming from LinkedIn or Twitter or Discord channel? You need to identify this and how many of them came, when they came, and how many of them are connected to the wallet, and among that, how many people performed the transaction, and then what transaction that happened in the blockchain. That also you need to understand. So for that, you need to have proper analytical framework and the infrastructure to collect the data to use it. So that's all I want to explain in this particular video. In the previous videos, we explained the wallet attribution, how to connect Web2 data with the Web3 data, and we do have a platform. You can try it right away. Go to our website, analytic.com, and you can learn more about our platform. And if you want to use, go to app.analytic.com, register, and you can start using our product right away. You can understand how the Web2 data is collected, how the Web3 data is collected, how you can integrate those two to create an intelligence report for your marketing agencies. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel. That's going to help us to improve our channel. Thank you. Appreciate the time.